Hola amigos, soy Jorge Bourdieu y esto es Marillion TV América Latina. En este primer bloque vamos a presentar una nota hecha por la televisión mexicana a H y a Mark, donde aquel explica el origen de Brave y algo de lo que se quiso expresar con las letras. Aunque muchos de nosotros que somos los fans de la banda ya sabemos eso, nos pareció importante mostrarlo debido al inminente lanzamiento de CD, Blu-ray y DVD precisamente de Brave Tour 2013. La nota fue realizada en 1994 durante la gira de Brave en ese país. Vamos a agradecer muy especialmente a David Esquivel que nos cedió gentilmente este video para que ustedes lo vean. Vamos.
Well, essentially it's a long story, but the album was inspired by a radio broadcast, which was an appeal from the police to the general public in the area of Bristol in England about 5 years ago. The police had found a girl wandering on the big suspension bridge between England and Wales. It's a bit like the Golden Gate Bridge. It's a massive suspension bridge. It's a motorway bridge. And they found a teenage girl wandering alone next to the freeway there. And she was so traumatized and so confused when they picked her up that she wouldn't speak to them at all. And out of desperation, after they'd had her at the police station for a couple of days or something, they made an appeal on the radio in case any of the general public might know who she was. They described her and described where she'd been picked up. And I was working in the area at the time, and I heard that radio broadcast. And I thought it was very sad, as it was very moving. As a story, it was something that was true. And yet it was a mystery. It was like the first page of a book, you know, so many unanswered questions. How had she got there? Where was she going? What had happened to her to traumatize her so badly? Was she going to jump from the bridge? Great many unanswered questions. And I wrote it all down in my diary, you know, at the time. And I thought, well, maybe one day I'll write a song for her or about her. Although I don't know who she is, I'll write a song. And I forgot all about it, and then it resurfaced. You know, we'd written about 4 or 5 songs for what was going to become Brave, and the songs took me back to her. They reminded me of her, and they set me off thinking about her again. And I went and dug out all my old diaries, found the notes that I'd originally made all those years ago, and came to the band and said, what if we make an album which is a piece of fiction but could be her story, you know, and start the album with the girl on the bridge and the police, and then take the story straight back to the moment of her birth, and take the story from a narration into her mind, boom, to where she's explaining everything she refused to say to the police. She's going to say in the music, and it went from there. I was really just trying to paint a picture of a young girl who'd grown up in a very dysfunctional situation. First of all, she'd been sexually abused by her father as a young girl. The reason I felt the need to include that as a subject in a song was that I'd become amazed by the massive increase in reported cases of sexual abuse across Europe, and felt that somebody should address it. Somebody should say it's not taboo. You can talk about these things, and to talk about them publicly, really as a kind of a show of sympathy to those girls and boys to some extent who've been victim of this, and so I was trying to paint this picture of a young girl who's grown up in a house where she's been very, very suffocated by this experience and the effect that it's then had on her parents, who are trying to pretend that it never happened. They're trying to deny it's happened. The frantic cleaning of the house by her mother, the frantic attention to tidiness and to domesticity, which can come about as a reaction to guilt. You know, if I keep the house clean, then we're respectable. It doesn't matter what we do when no one's looking. But, you know, if we have a guest around, then there's no dust on the mantelpiece. And I sort of took that a stage further to include the idea of the hypocrisy of these people who go to church every Sunday, you know, and kneel down and pray to God. Not because they want to talk to God, but they want to be seen by the person next to them to be pious, you know, because that gives them a respectability, just as these politicians want to be seen to be praying to God, but not in a little church, in a big one, you know, in a church for important people. And that the whole way that religion can be used as a prestige, a symbol of prestige, a symbol of your class, if you like. You know, in England, the aristocracy always go to church on Sunday, but they go to church together, you know, in the green Range Rovers.
They go to church to be seen. That's, you know, that's the...
And so it was just... It's not... I'm not knocking religion, of course, because if you believe in God, and if you believe in the teachings of Christ or Buddha or Allah or whichever God you happen to kneel to, if that makes you a better person, and if that makes you relate to people with more love, then it's a good thing. So I'm not just some English upstart scumbag who's going to religion. That's not what I'm doing. I'm just trying to point out how religion, as well as love, as well as sex, as well as power, as well as money, can be abused. All these things are there to do positive things, or to be abused and become cancer.